Grillin and Chillin. This is Charlotte Smith, UT Extension Agent. The first thing that we're going to look at is we want to know, what do you want to get out of this? Why are you here? Why do you want to learn about grilling? How can you use the information you learn? These questions are all part of the motivational process. You're going to make goals, you have expectations and needs, and we're going to look at all of those. As an instructor, I'm going to use your answers to these questions to help guide the learning and make it interesting. Now that we've looked at your expectations, I want to know, what do you know about grilling already? The reason that I want to know this is I want to take what you already know and build upon that. So we want to transfer the knowledge that you already know into new knowledge that you're going to learn. The first thing we are going to cover are declarative facts, and these are necessary for you to be an expert in the field of grilling. We're going to go over safety first. So we're going to go over food safety, fire safety, and of course grilling safety. For food safety, we're first going to talk about shopping. You should make your grocery store your last stop before going home, and shop for your meat, poultry, and fish last. You should check all packages carefully. Don't buy food in packages that are open, torn, or damaged. Or if the package is sealed, check to see that the seal is not broken. Check the sell-by dates on the labels. As a general rule, meats should be frozen or cooked within 1 to 2 days of the sell-by date. Put your meat, poultry, and fish in a separate bag from ready-to-eat foods such as vegetables, salads, and fruits. Choose the coolest place in your car for your groceries. If you are riding the bus, taking along a canvas bag, or ask the store to double your bags for your meats and other cold items. Make sure to take your groceries home as quickly as possible. In hot weather, take meats home to the refrigerator or freezer within an hour. They should never be at room temperature more than 2 hours. If you can't get meats home within 1 to 2 hours, take along a cooler with ice or ice packs. Next, we're going to talk about preparing food safely. This is where I really want you to pay attention and take notes. Sometimes it's okay to just listen and take notes in your head, but I really need you to remember this, so write this down. Once you get your food home, it must be handled safely to prevent foodborne illnesses. Wash your hands before and after handling the food. Use warm running water and soap. Wash your hands for about 20 seconds. Remember to write down 20 seconds. Clean up any spills immediately, especially juices from raw meats. Keep raw meat and its juices from touching other foods such as fruits or vegetables and cooked meats. Clean anything, and I mean anything, this is something you need to write down or remember. Clean anything that comes in contact with food such as knives, plates, and countertops with hot water and soap before and after it touches food, especially raw meats. It's important to marinate meats in the refrigerator. Go ahead and write that down. Discard any marinade not used in cooking. So you can't cook your marinade for sauces or something like that. We do not recommend that. Cook foods to the correct internal temperatures. For example, beef, lamb, and veal should be cooked to about 145, and that's for medium rare, 160 degrees for medium. Ground beef, pork, veal, and lamb should be cooked to 160 degrees. Chicken should be 165. Use a thermometer to check the internal temperature of your food. Grill hot dogs until they are steaming hot. And always, write this down, always use a clean plate when taking food off the grill. Refrigerate foods within 2 hours after grilling. In hot weather, 90 degrees or above, refrigerate within 1 hour. And this is also true for salads and other perishable foods. Now, for grilling safety. You want to make sure that you use your grill on a flat surface. You want to also be a solid surface away from overhangs, grass, and shrubbery. Always grill outside in a well-ventilated area. Never use charcoal inside your house, camper, or tent. Die every year from carbon monoxide fumes from charcoal grills used inside. So go ahead and write that down. Never use charcoal inside your house, camper, or tent. And that's due to carbon monoxide fumes. Store your grills outside. Do not store a grill with freshly used coals inside. Use lighter fluid made for grilling. Never use alcohol, kerosene, or gasoline. Do not add lighter fluid to coals after they have been lit. Please down. Do not add lighter fluid to coals after they have been lit. Use long-handled tools and flame-retardant mitts to protect your hands. We also want to talk about cleaning your grill. You should clean your grill before or after you cook. There are different methods, and we're going to talk about that in the next slide on what are the different methods of grilling. We're now going to try to figure out what you do and don't comprehend. And this is something that I want you to do, and this is a strategy you can use to help you become an expert griller. So what you should always look at is, what questions do you have? Is there anything you don't quite understand? Anything that needs just a little bit more clarification? And we'll go ahead and answer those two questions. Great. Now, let's go ahead and summarize what you just learned. So, I would like you to summarize and tell me what you've learned so far. Now that we've talked about food safety and grilling safety, we're going to talk about what materials you're going to need. These are procedural, so we're going to talk about the procedures of grilling. So the first thing would be, of course, to get all your materials out. If you're a chef, this is also called mise en place. So that means everything in its place. So we're going to make sure everything is in its place by going ahead and having the materials ready. Some of the materials you'll need will be, of course, your grill, long grilling flame retardant gloves, charcoal, several long-handled tongs and spatulas, an apron to keep your clothes from getting dirty, a hat to keep you from accidentally getting hair in the food or catching your hair on fire, closed-toed shoes so that if you do drop something such as hot coals or meat, you don't burn your toes, a clean plate for cooked meat, because remember, we do not use the same plate that we use for the raw meat with a cooked meat. Make sure to have a separate cutting board for meat. If you're doing vegetables or anything like that, you should never cook meat on the same plate as you do vegetables and fruits. You need your meat and seasoning, a chimney, newspaper, water, just in case you need to put out a fire, gloves to handle the raw meat, hand sanitizer, soap and water, a cooler, and ice. Now that we've discussed the different materials you'll need, we're going to go over lighting your charcoal grill, cooking your meat, and cleaning your charcoal grill. These are all procedures. and you have a worksheet in front of you, you're just going to fill in some of the blanks as we go along. So, before you begin cooking, you need to prepare your grill. Remove old coals and soil from the bottom of the grill. Line the bottom with heavy-duty aluminum foil, shiny side up. If you're not using a chimney, you're going to add about 30 charcoal briquettes per pound of meat and ignite. This can be done in a couple of ways. Place the briquettes in a mound in the center of the grill. Soak the briquettes with charcoal lighter fluid available where charcoal briquettes are sold. Wait a minute and ignite. Let the coals burn for several minutes until they turn mostly gray and glow orange. Spread the hot coals over the bottom of the grill towards the edges, about 2 inches beyond where food will cook. Light the briquettes 20 to 40 minutes before you want to start cooking. What you can also do is buy or make a starter can. You can make a starter can by cutting out the top and bottom of a 1-gallon tin can and punching holes around the bottom. Place the can in the center of the grill and add 3 to 5 crumpled sheets of newspaper in the bottom. Place briquettes on top of the newspaper and ignite the paper. Wait about 10 to 15 minutes until briquettes turn gray and glow orange. Remove can with pliers. Spread the hot coals over the bottom of the grill using tongs with long handles. Adjust the temperature of the coals by moving them apart and raising the grate to reduce the temperature. Raise the temperature by moving the coals closer together and lowering the grate. Clean the wire grate that comes in contact with your foods while coals are heating. Scrub the grate with a stiff bristle brush to remove old food particles. Use a crumpled piece of foil if you do not have a brush. Now it's important to know how hot is your temperature. What you can do is count how long you can hold your hand over the coals before it is too hot and you have to pull away. If it's 2 seconds, then it's about 375 degrees or higher, which is hot. If it's 3 seconds, it's 350 to 375 degrees, which is medium hot. 4 seconds would be 300 to 350 degrees, which is medium. And 5 seconds would be 200 to 300 degrees, which is a low temperature. There's some different ways that you can grill. You can do the direct cooking method, which is placing the food directly on the grate. This method is best for foods that will cook quickly, such as burgers and steaks. Then there's an indirect cooking method, which is placing the food on the grate over a metal or disposable foil drip pan. Using this method for slow, even cooking for large cuts of meat or whole chickens. You will need to add more briquettes to maintain a hot enough temperature. There's also a foil wrap method. If you choose this method, you're going to place food on a sheet of foil and add herbs, sauces, or a small amount of liquid. Wrap foil around the food and seal the edges. This method works well for tender foods such as fish and vegetables. Cook fish at a lower temperature than other meats because it dries out quickly. And leave about 3/4 of an inch between pieces of food to ensure even cooking. To speed cooking, partially cook thicker pieces of meat and vegetables in the microwave before grilling. Do this just before they go on the grill. Meats thawed or partially cooked in a microwave should be cooked immediately. Use tongs to turn solid pieces of meat, such as steaks or poultry. Do not use anything that's going to pierce it, such as a fork. This helps keep juices inside. As for cleaning, you want to make sure to keep your grill clean by cleaning each time you use it. So after you're done cooking and you're taking your meat off the grill, you're going to clean your grill. Wash the hood and inside with water and soap before you cook for the first time. Wash occasionally as needed, and use a scraper or wire brush to remove food from the grill before and after you cook. To prevent food from sticking, rub the grate with a small amount of vegetable oil on a paper towel or spray with vegetable cooking spray before lighting the charcoal. We're now going to try to figure out what you do and don't comprehend. And this is something that I want you to do, and this is a strategy you can use to help you become an expert griller. So what you should always look at is, what questions do you have? Is there anything you don't quite understand? Anything that needs just a little bit more clarification? And we'll go ahead and answer those two questions. Great. Now, let's go ahead and summarize what you just learned. So, I would like you to summarize and tell me what you've learned so far. Now you're going to create a concept map. By creating a concept map, it'll help you organize your thoughts. You'll start out with cooking or grilling, which is what our main concept is. And then you'll look at the materials and procedures that you think are important, and then the grilling safety, the main parts that are important, and then maybe the parts that you think are important but maybe are not as important. And you'll also look at food safety and what's important about food safety that you've learned so far. This will help you become an expert griller. Problem solving is an important part of learning. So what we're going to do is, in order for you to become experts in the field of grilling, you have to know how to solve problems when they occur. So we are going to divide up into groups, and in each group you're going to think about what you know about grilling, think on the problem, and then create possible solutions. What are some of the reasons that some of these problems may occur? So in group 1 you'll have flare-ups, group 2 undercooked food, group 3 overcooked food, and so on. So go ahead and divide up into your groups and start thinking about what you know about grilling. Then you're going to, after you think about everything you know about grilling, think about the problem, and then we're going to create possible solutions, and then we'll research those solutions after you're done. Now that we've looked at some of the problems, we're going to watch the experts. And while we're watching the experts, I want you to take notes on what you think is important to remember whenever you're out there grilling. And of course, watch the experts and take notes. We will get to the hands-on learning part. We're now going to try to figure out what you do and don't comprehend. And this is something that I want you to do, and this is a strategy you can use to help you become an expert griller. So what you should always look at is, what questions do you have? Is there anything you don't quite understand? Anything that needs just a little bit more clarification? And we'll go ahead and answer those two questions. Great. Now let's go ahead and summarize what you just learned. So I would like you to summarize and tell me what you've learned so far. Now that we have learned the facts or declarative learning, we have reflected on what we have comprehended and what we need to review. We have learned the procedures, looked at what is important to know, and observed and studied experts. We are ready to try grilling out. In order to become an expert griller, you must do all of these and continue to reflect on what you comprehend or understand and what you need to review or study further. So now on to the hands-on learning.